Welcome to the Michigan Skier Show with our host, Jim Neff. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
The giant has become the giant is Boyne. How did that, and you were up there right almost from the beginning. How did that come about?
Yeah, you know, having skied at Everett and having a lot of friends at Cadillac, I was never going to leave Cadillac. It was never going to happen. And then we heard about this new ski area up at Boyne. And we went up there one weekend, and, you know, I never returned. It was towards the end of the first season, and went up there and got involved. Met Everett, Kircher, the gentleman who was the mainstay in getting Boyne Mountain started, and ultimately worked for him for 2 or 3 years down here in Detroit area.
Selling?
Studebaker automobiles.
Okay.
And
on Livernois, just south of 8 Mile?
Just south of 8 Mile Road. And then worked on the ski patrol up at Boyne, and the last year before I went into business for myself, ran the patrol for him at Boyne Mountain. And that was an absolutely marvelous experience, and we had a great deal of fun together and enjoyed one another a great deal.
Now, when you were selling cars, you also sold one to the fellow who has become probably the most famous skier in history of downhill sliding, Stein Ericksen.
Mr. Ericksen.
Yes.
Well, actually, in 1952 was the Winter Olympics in Oslo, Norway, and at our home with my mother and I had a room on the 3rd floor, and we had rented that out to a Norwegian student who was up at GM Tech. And the Olympics were coming around, and he said, why don't we go back, which we did. And was a marvelous experience because we lived right there in his home in Smestad, which was up near where the jump hill was. And met Stein over there. But when Stein returned to this country, he stayed at our home. He and a young lady by the name of Katie Rodoff. And of course, again, I was working for Everett at that time, and Everett wanted to meet Stein. And so one evening, my wife-to-be and his wife-to-be and Stein got together, had dinner, and conversation ensued. And the long and the short of it is ultimately Stein came back to Boyne Mountain.
And was the first in a long line of European ski instructors at Boyne.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. He and then, of course, Otmar were the two most notable of that group. But yeah, Stein came back, stayed here for a few years, made a real name for himself here, and then moved on from there.